so I'm not going to give you the full sales specs, but there's a few things that I wanted to touch on, and some of them Mark's already hit on his presentation, so I may skip on some of those ones. But I think, the big thing about the A7 and the A7R, of course, it's a full-frame sensor in a camera that is literally half the size of most full-frame cameras. So, next to our own A99, it is almost half the weight. And the A99 was a light camera. The 5D, 895 grams, the A7R, 465 grams, the Nikon D800, a kilogram. So we're under half the weight of that. But even next to something like your OMD EM1, we're looking at a camera that's the same size and weight, but with a sensor that's up there. I think went 8 times. I was off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was advice from my better half. So look, of course, that is a great headline feature, but none of that matters if you haven't got a camera that is rock solid. And we wanted to make the A7 and A7R a really great quality camera that's going to work for years to come. So the first thing is weather sealing. So the A7, the A7R, along with all the accessories that come with them, weather sealed, dust sealed. You can take them out in the rain, take them out in this, no problems at all. They'll keep on ticking. You'll check it out before they do. They're also built out of the best quality materials. So we use magnesium alloy body, top plate, chassis, all the important stuff to keep your camera really rigid and really durable. So these things come together really nicely and stay together. In terms of handling, we wanted to take lessons from all the cameras that we've made in the past. So we've taken lessons from the A99, from the RX1, from the NEX cameras like the NEX7, which had a really fantastic interface. And we've kind of put it all together. So extremely customizable. You can see here all of the buttons that are highlighted on the screen. I'm sorry if you can't see them. There's 9 buttons on this camera which can be customized to do whatever you like. There's 43 different functions you can stick on there. So you could, if you just want to... 46? Oh, there you go. I'm getting corrected off the slides. Don't read that. So if you're really into your picture effects, you can do, just have everything assigned to picture effects, or if you have a more sane purpose for this camera, then you can set it up your way as well. In terms of ergonomics, we put a lot of time into the grip for this camera. It's nicely detented. It falls well into the hand for most people. If you've got a big hand, as a lot of Australians do, we of course have our battery grip to go onto it as well, and that really I challenge anyone to have bigger hands than will fit onto that battery grip. It's got plenty of space. Now we have what I believe is our best viewfinder ever on this camera. We use the same panel that goes into that viewfinder you've got at the back there. Exactly, that's the one. Goes into the A99, goes into the NEX6, but we've improved the optics massively. So this lump on the top is not just for show, it's very utilitarian. We've got a lot of glass in there. That means you get really good quality on that screen right the way out to the edges, so very sharp, no problems with chroma or anything like that. And the eye point is a lot longer, so if you wear glasses, you can have a much more comfortable time using this camera through your glasses because you can see the picture further from your eye. Now we've got a new processor in the A7, the A7R, we call it Beyond's X. It's about 4 times faster than our previous Beyond's processor. And that has meant a lot of advances in picture quality. So we've improved our high ISO noise performance. You can see here, side by side, some crops from this photograph showing Nikon D800 on the left, the A7R on the right. And you can just see the way the details have cleaned up a little bit nicer, less noise in the shadow, especially in terms of chroma noise. That's color noise for the cheap seats. And you can see here, even in the background where it's blurred out, you've just got a much smoother blur, less noise, less issues with grain. Of course, we live in a golden age here in terms of ISO, so it's all pretty damn good. Another thing that we've improved on is the detail reproduction, so sharpening essentially. Normally with sharpening you'll find that you can get things like halos, issues where fake details get invented because the camera just wants to make everything sharp. We've got a new engine with Metabones X that means you get more detail without having any nasty issues with halos appearing around the edges of bright objects. So everything looks a little bit crisper without any of the artifacts. Who likes astronomy stuff? I really like this stuff. This is the Hubble Deep Field. This is taken by a really expensive camera, the Hubble Deep Field Hubble telescope. And one of the things they use to make this image much clearer than it would otherwise be is a process called deconvolution. So that's where essentially you know exactly what your optics are doing, and you can figure out the ways that they're less than perfect and kind of fix them up in post, essentially. And that's something that Metabones X can do for diffraction. Who's familiar with diffraction? People, that's good. Diffraction, I think of it, it's with your aperture, it's like squinting, right? You squint a little bit, everything gets a little bit sharper. You squint too much, everything goes to pieces. So as you close down your aperture, things can get blurry. So you can see here, this is, again, just because they use a very similar sensor, D800E on the left, A7R on the right, and you can see here just the difference. You've got diffraction kicking in here, you're losing the details on the D800, but because of that diffraction reduction technology, you keep far more of the detail. And these are extreme crops, so please excuse my dodginess here, but you can definitely see the difference. So, that was a bit of a deep dive on the image quality. Let's talk about autofocus, because this is something that is very important for everyone. And I think it's one of the reasons why people are a little bit leery about going from a DSLR to a mirrorless camera. One of the things that we've really improved on in this camera is the autofocus. So on the A7 and the A7R we have fast intelligent AF. Basically the Metabones X processor processes information 4 times faster. That means you get your focus information processed that much faster, and we get much better focus. So across the board, despite the fact that we have a bigger sensor and therefore shallower depth of field, the focus on these cameras is faster than it was on our original NEX cameras. So that's of course a great thing to have. But on the A7, we've gone a step further and we've added phase detect autofocus on the sensor. So we have 117 phase detect autofocus points, which mean you can do tracking focus of moving subjects at 5 frames per second, which is a fantastic thing to have. And here you can see you have your phase detect autofocus points in the center of the frame. When you pick up the A7, you'll be able to actually see that curved frame in the middle of the screen, showing you exactly where that is. So a couple of differences between the A7 and the A7R. Anyone contemplating a purchase will definitely have a difficult decision to make, but it is the best kind of difficult decision. So the first thing, of course, the 36 megapixel XMOR CMOS sensor in the A7R. We've talked a bit about the quality of that already, but one of the other things that I haven't mentioned yet is the offset and improved micro lenses. So, normally you think you go to 36 megapixels, you're going to lose some ISO performance, but what we've managed to do is increase the size of the tiny lenses on the sensor that focus light to where it needs to go. So we actually have as good ISO performance on the A7R as on the A7, and we also have offset the micro lenses toward the corners. So if you're using lenses that are adapted from another system, especially ones with a shorter registration distance, thinking Leica lenses particularly here, you're going to get much better performance in the corners than you would with a conventional micro lens setup. In terms of build material, A7 has a magnesium alloy top plate and the chassis. The A7R has a front plate that's magnesium alloy as well, so when you're using larger adapted lenses, it's going to be a little bit more rigid, a little bit firmer in the grip. Finally, just quickly, a few of the accessories which we're launching, because of course your camera's no good without a lens on the front of it. A battery grip to go with the camera. I'm just going to grab that one off the table over there. Thank you kindly. Nice to see Kevin Trent. So, screws on nice and quickly. This is weather sealed, of course, to go with the camera. It accommodates 2 W series batteries, so you get double battery life. And we've duplicated all the important controls on the top there. So 2 dials, shutter release, custom function button, and your AF/MF toggle. So plenty of stuff to use there. Next up, we've got the 35mm f2.8 Zeiss Sonar. This is the lens, the first prime lens that we'll launch with this camera. And it's really designed to be small, lightweight, easy to take with you. Someone's got it. Where is it? Bring it back. Okay, so as you can see, it's got a nice little compact lens hood that goes on it. This has the hood on. And this camera, this lens, like both of our Zeiss primes that we're launching with, is razor sharp. You should see the MTFs on this thing. It's out of control. So, of course, f2.8, not perhaps quite as sexy as the RX1 and f2, but we think compact, lightweight. Of course, if you really want a super fast prime, there are plenty of options that already exist. We want to offer something unique, and that's what this is. Next up, I'll just show you a sample from that. Here we go. 50mm f1.8. Unfortunately, it's not 4K, so it's not quite the same. 55mm f1.8 Zeiss Sonar. This one will land in January. I've got it on this camera here. This, of course, is a great way to get some nice background blur on this camera. F1.8, plenty of aperture to achieve nice defocus effects. Great for shooting in lower light. Again, this thing is a monster of resolution. I've been using it on the A7R. The corners look like the middle. It's just ridiculous. So I really want this, but I can't have it. They're not letting me take it on holidays. And then we have a nice portrait taken with 55mm f1.8. Of course, you know, if you convert this to APS-C, you're looking at f1.4 and f1.2 if you were down at micro 4/3. So it's a pretty serious background blur machine. Next up, the 28-70 f3.5 to f5.6. This is only available in a kit with the A7. So look, it's a really solid standard zoom lens. It's no Zeiss, but if you'd like a nice walk-around lens that you can walk out of the store with, it's a good choice. Again, only available in a kit with the A7 at this stage. Finally, one more. The 24-70 f4 Zeiss standard zoom. So this lens, of course, will be high on many people's wish lists. Look, it's going to have fantastic performance right across the board. I'm afraid I don't have one here tonight. I have handled one, fit and finish, top notch. This lens is going to be your perfect walk around and a great match for the A7 or A7R.
Is it full frame?
Of course, yes, full frame. All lenses are full frame. If you are looking for lenses for your E-mount full frame, all of the full frame ones have FE on the lens. So E-mount lenses that are already existing out there will work on the A7 and A7R. They'll just crop down to APS-C. Some of the telephoto E-mount lenses actually project quite a big image circle, so you can switch to full frame if you want. Maybe you can do a square crop. Finally, LA-EA4. We have one already with me over here. No,
it's probably worth mentioning, Sean, if you do crop down, you still get 15 megapixels.
That's right. On the A7R, 15 megapixels, 12 on the A7. So if you're going from an NEX6, it's a side grade. Well, it's a massive upgrade, but you're not losing too much by cropping down. So this is the LA-EA4, our new mount adapter. So if you shoot an A-mount camera, this will be a great way to take advantage of your existing range of lenses. Of course, like our LA-EA2, it has autofocus, phase detect autofocus built in, so you can take full advantage, as Mark was talking about. So yeah, a great way to use your existing library of lenses. And that sort of brings me to another point I wanted to just touch on, which is, of course, at launch we have 2 lenses available with these cameras natively. You know, we realize it'd be nice to have a few more, and that's why with our cameras, if you buy a body only A7 or A7R, at launch there's going to be a piece of paper in the box to allow that you can redeem for a mount adapter for your existing system. So if you are a Canon shooter, you'll be able to get a Metabones adapter for Canon. If you shoot Alpha already, we'll give you an LA-EA4. Of course, the best experience will always be to use the native lenses on the camera, and of course that'll let you take full advantage of the compactness. But we, right now today, don't have a huge range of lenses. We want to make it easy for you to enjoy the A7 right out of the gate.